All right, let's go back to Sandton, where there are interviews on the go for the next Chief Justice of South Africa. Heidi Giokos has been following those interviews closely. Let's cross to her now. They've been quizzing Supreme Court of Appeal President Mandisa Maya, Heidi, and she was given time to lay out her vision for the Constitutional Court and the Judiciary. What were some of the salient points for you?
I must say, Taps, I think everybody in the room is blown away, commissioners, the media, at Justice Mandisa Maya's interview. It hasn't been that long. It started at about 9 o'clock and we're already on a tea break. But just the points and the visions and the plans that she has should she become Chief Justice. She has spoken about the fact that judges are also subjected to sexual harassment, and just because they are judges, they should also be considered with receiving this kind of treatment. And she says that there are no policies for anti-sexual harassment within the judiciary, and this is something that needs to be urgently addressed. She spoke about her personal experiences with regards to when she became pregnant, and she says, and I quote, she says, "The judiciary did not know what to do with me." And this is an issue that many women in this country face, to say that when they become pregnant and they are childbearing, it becomes a very complex matter around maternity leave and the treatment that women face when they do become pregnant. So she was saying this is something that she's definitely going to have to address. She also spoke about, or rather she was questioned by the chairperson of the JSC right at the beginning around why she decided to write a full judgment in eNCA and how complex that was actually for her. And she says it's about preserving culture and making judgments accessible to all those involved. And if people don't know how to read these judgments in English and that's not their first language, why should they not be able to do so in their mother tongue, in their language? So it's been truly profound, I must say, Taps, in the last hour and a half or so that she has been interviewed. There was a point where she actually got emotional to say that there are certain processes that are not in place and that they should be in place because, you know, this is not how the judiciary should work, and this is not what is put out in the Constitution.
Yeah, she got very passionate as she was talking about increasing the number of women in the judiciary, and she says we are not as transformed as we think we are as a society. She is the president of the Supreme Court of Appeal, one of the most efficient courts in South Africa. What did she say about increasing the efficiency of the Constitutional Court?
Yeah, and I think it's an important point you touch on with regards to the kind of turnarounds and progress and developments that she's been able to achieve while she's been Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal. She has spoken about, as you rightfully mentioned, the fact that there were previously mostly male judges at the at the Supreme Court of Appeal. She's basically said how that's completely turned around. There are now 11 women and 12 men. She has spoken about how their interaction between the judges has also significantly changed, and that's a very important point in how judges work together and interact with each other. A lot of what she has been able to achieve at the Supreme Court of Appeal, being the judge president there, she says she'll hopefully be able to move over if she does become Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court. But what she's also highlighted in her own words, Taps, is that if she does become the Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court, it will most likely become a disaster at the Supreme Court of Appeal because of the kind of work and turnaround she's been able to achieve. And she's worried about what's going to happen to the Supreme Court of Appeal. She's also very concerned at the fact that the plan that she has is to try and get all courts under one roof. She says the fact that in the last week or so there was a matter where a judge at Palm Ridge Magistrate Court here in Gauteng was unable to progress because there were no recordings. The recording system was not working. So there are a lot of technicalities and a lot of issues that need to be dealt with to make courts more efficient. Accessibility to courts. This should be for every single individual in the country to be able to access these courts. So these are the kinds of things that she wants to tackle. A lot of similar points to what Justice Madlanga spoke about yesterday, but I think the biggest one, coming from a woman, from a judge president of the Supreme Court, is the issues that women still face in this country and how women are still treated.
One of the issues that's been raised, Heidi, is that she is an outsider, if you like, when it comes to the Constitutional Court. What was her response to that?
Another important point that you touch on here, Taps, and the reason for this is because she's not been at the Apex Court for over a decade, she says, and she says that she hopes this is not going to be used against her because she doesn't have any kind of experience at the Apex Court, such as Justice Madlanga or Justice Raymond Zondo would have, because they are currently judges at the Crown Court. But she says that this should definitely not be used against her because of the kind of experience, skills, and she says the integrity that she has. So another big issue here is the fact that Justice Madlanga and Justice Raymond Zondo don't have much time to still be at the Apex Court because there's a 12-year cycle for judges at the Apex Court, and they have about 3.5 years left, whereas Justice Maya and Justice Mlambo have possibly the full 12 years to still be at the Constitutional Court. So that could work in her favor, but she will definitely be able to navigate her way through that, and she says she has the necessary skills for that.
All right, Heidi, thank you so much. I think there's about 5 minutes left of this comfort break that they've been afforded, so we'll let you get back in there. Heidi Giokos in Sandton, where the JSC is interviewing Judge Mandisa Maya for the position.